The 1982 attempted military coup saw the name Kenya Air Force dropped and temporarily replaced by 1982 Air Force. This required a change of slogan and the force flag. Tonight, in the Military Tales, we feature Major Patrick Gichuhi Ngobe, the man who coined the new slogan, Imara Angani, which stands to date. Nisi Imano with the details.
Patrick Gichuhi Ngobe was born and brought up in Nairobi's Kangemi estate.
We had grown at the bottom of what we call poverty. I know it, I experienced it.
Gichuhi had never thought of the possibility of flying.
And at that time, even to think of even getting near an aircraft, leave alone flying, it was not easy.
Until a newspaper advert came through for him, joining the Kenya Air Force after his A-levels.
And luckily, I attended the interviews, a bit difficult, and I passed.
He was then selected to do a course on helicopter flying.
At the time, the Air Force had never operated helicopters. And even they didn't have the helicopters. They didn't have the instructor.
In France, the flying course was on a crash program.
And we used to fly even late hours at night to cover the night flying programs. And both the students and even the instructors, all of us were working tirelessly to cover the program.
Upon his return to Kenya, Major Gichuhi became part of the pioneer helicopter pilots in the Kenya Air Force and indeed in the whole country.
Also at the time in the country, if there was any helicopter operation, it was very, very scanty. There was almost nil. Helicopters were not that much known.
As fate would have it, in February of 1979, 2 Air Force aircrafts crashed on their way back from an operation in the Kilimambogo area near Thika, killing 6 Air Force personnel.
We took off that morning. We went round and we found where they had crashed at Kilimambogo. Unfortunately, not even one person survived in that air crash. We lost everybody.
This accident would propel Major Gichuhi to taking charge as squadron commander.
And it was a very tough job. It exposed me to the early management of a squadron.
He had to manage the squadron and the trauma the team was coping with.
A lot of assistance to get through. I had the Air Force headquarters which was keeping vigil at the new squadron so that we don't get more incidences.
After the Kilimambogo crash, the Kenya Air Force had to quickly train more helicopter pilots.
We had a lot of work to do in the country. Apart from training, the helicopters we were failing where there is relief required. We also used to do military missions, and also later on the squadron was very much involved with the VIP flights.
Years later, on the 21st of August 1982, the name Kenya Air Force changed to 82 Air Force.
And we were given the new uniform, we were given new numbers, and we were turned now 82 Air Force. Even a mention of Kenya Air Force, you could be sent home or to jail.
Major Patrick Gichuhi Ngobe was the brains behind these new emblems of the new Kenya Air Force.
And I did that work under very strict supervision. At the same time, I was given the task of designing the flag for the new Air Force.
A task into which he put tremendous efforts for it to be adopted.
Fortunately, I completed the establishment work and handed it over to the Air Force headquarters, to General Mohammed. He was the Air Force commander then.
The new 82 Air Force, however, reverted to Kenya Air Force on the 14th of July, 1993 through a court ruling.
The court gave the ruling that Kenya Air Force has never been disbanded. That's when the uniform was for 82 Air Force was gotten rid of, and the Kenya Air Force came back to their own uniform.
Gichuhi's slogan, "Pick of Imara Angani" for the Kenya Air Force stands to date, as is the flag. According to Major Gichuhi, once a military man, always a military man.
That one I can assure you. Even after many years of retirement, I'm still a military man at heart. I'm wearing a civilian face, but inside me, there is a military man in me.
Major Patrick Gichuhi Ngobe is the oldest living squadron commander of the Air Force. But what most people don't know is that when the Air Force was reformed in 1982, the flag and the motto, Tuko Imara Angani, was his idea. Reporting for KBC from Kino in Kiambu County, I'm Nisi Imano.